very special occasion. You're in for a treat. 25 years ago, before I was born, 25 years ago, the curtain went up on a new Broadway musical. And when that curtain fell 2.5 hours later, an institution in musical theater was born. The show played to over 20 million people on Broadway. I can't even wager a guess as to how many people worldwide have seen this show and the magnificent movie version. And for a long while after that moment, a quarter of a century ago, theatergoers could be heard reviewing other musicals with the phrase, well, it's no My Fair Lady. It certainly was the most popular theatrical attraction of its time, and now a new, thrilling production has been mounted once again, proving what an incomparable piece of musical theater it is. The production is currently just up the street here at the Pantages in Hollywood for a couple of months. It tour and winds up back home on Broadway at the Uris Theater. Needless to say, we're delighted that the Fair Lady, man who was and is sheer brilliance in the role of Professor Henry Higgins, Rex Harrison. And I might add, rarely seen on a television interview show like this. About the unanimously acclaimed revival of My Fair Lady, which just opened, as I said, around the corner here in Hollywood, our Los Angeles Times critic just said, it is everything that My Fair Lady ought to be. Stately, droll, light on its feet, handsomely sung, beautifully staffed, and at the top of the staff is Rex Harrison, who slips on the role of Professor Higgins like a man reclaiming a favorite old jacket and finding they suit each other better than ever. Would you welcome back to our show the theatrical giant who has every major award our industry can bestow? Here is Rex Harrison.
She almost makes the cake of you. You're a customer of it too. She whispers something to me. A smile.
Every minute of that feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Huh? I mean, you're getting it morning, noon, nighttime. Would you like to borrow an applause record to play around the house?
Well, why not?
Huh?
Yeah.
For when you need your orange juice in the morning?
Oh,
yes, yes. Wonderful to see you again, Rex. But you've chosen to take on this enormous task for the next 44 weeks? 8 shows a week? Do you really need that in your life at this moment?
I'm enjoying it.
Are you?
Yes, yes. I don't like to think too far ahead. 44 weeks. I'm sure about.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up.
No, we don't think about that. We take it by the night.
Aha, by the night.
But it's a long tour. I didn't know it was 44 weeks in that regular first week.
I mean, they haven't told you yet.
No.
They told me to break it to you gently. And then by next August, it'll be into that Uris Theater.
Into that huge Uris, yes.
You've never toured. It's a misnomer. Most people think that you have played years and years and years of My Fair Lady. It was, what, 2.5 years?
No, 2 years only in New York.
Huh? And then London.
And then a year in London. That's all I did.
But you never toured it?
No. Everybody else did.
Right. In fact, will this be your first tour of many American cities?
No, I did a tour of Kingfisher with Claudette Colbert.
Right.
After the Broadway run. Didn't come here. I went to San Francisco. And I did a tour of a play where I did come here, of Pirandello's, called Enrico Quattro, which is a beautiful, complicated, lovely play.
So this will be a nice
tour then. Yes.
How does one keep in shape for a tour like this, Rex?
Well,
your role is a tour de force on the stage.
Yes. Well, I mean, you've got to. I'm very lucky because I've got a wife who is a marvelous cook. And we don't get, yes, hot places left.
Right.
And we tour in great luxury because we don't usually go to hotels unless we can get a kitchen, big kitchen. So we take houses wherever we go. The great advantage of this tour is that you have long stops. Well, you said 2 months. We have 3.5 months. I thought we ought to put
2.5 months here in Hollywood?
Yes.
And I see those lines.
Oh, yes, it's going to be all right.
They're bumping into our lines here. We've exchanged wine a couple of times with your line out there. Well,
yes.
That will be...
Yes. And then we have long stops. We go to Chicago.
Do you have personal...
Oh, good.
Good. If you'd have said South Bend, you would have gotten a cheer. Do you have a little personal discipline, exercises that you do every day?
Yes. Because, which my wife has actually taught me, because she is a great yoga enthusiast. And, of course, her mother being Indian and her father being British, but she was born in the East. Right. She knows a great deal about yoga, and she's been to ashrams, and so she taught me the basic exercises and the breathing, which you can do, anybody can do until they're 100 if they get that far.
This is done early in the morning.
That's before you eat anything, before you even have, you mustn't even have a glass of water, because you do stomach exercises to breathing. It's all breathing, movement, and it's not strenuous, you see. They're so complicated, these Indian movements, that you do stretch everything. Mm-hmm.
How long does that take in the morning?
Well, you can do it as long as you like. Sometimes it takes... now when I'm doing 8 shows, I do it maybe only for 15 minutes. You can do it for half an hour. Yeah, you just do a set of exercise. Do you do any of that?
Well, I do. Yes, I do. I do. Ping pong at 8. Push the table away at 9. I try desperately. It's tough. Is it nice to be back in this city?
Lovely.
So much success for you.
Yes.
So many great motion pictures.
Yes, it's lovely to be back. Well, it really is. And I'm awfully glad the play's been such a big success, and they really love it.
Oh, I know. It's extraordinary. You won the Academy Award for the film version?
Yes.
On Jack Warner? Well, in those days.
Oh, yes. You knew Jack.
Oh, I was under contract to him.
That's right.
I went to those lunches.
Oh, weren't they fun? He was so rude to everybody.
Wasn't he? He was great.
Yeah.
We can talk about him now that he's not with us, but he loved it. I accused him of it to his face on the show here shortly before he passed on. He used to say the worst.
He was funny, wasn't he?
Sit down. So then he'd get up and he'd whistle tea for...
And that foot would go.
Yeah.
I got it back to the Caribbean with a lady friend. Asked how he'd liked it and where he'd been. And the man said, Jamaica. And touched her. Absolutely typical Jack Warner.
Right. He was crude in many senses, but he was an extraordinary man with a great gift for motion pictures and knowing how to do it. I recall one night at his house, he gave a party, and it was all royalty. There was Queen Mother, somebody, and Princess so-and-so, and Princess this, and all of them. And we were all there, and we were all on our best manners. And at the end of dinner, suddenly stood up at the table. Now we'll go in the other room and have our cigars, and you ladies can go to the toilet. The poor Queen Mother didn't know, He just said him right out loud.
But he was I think that Fair Lady was his last personal production, wasn't it? I think it was the last one. He did it personally. It was really wonderful, because what happened was that we got the whole of the studio. He built all the sets, and we rehearsed, which is there. You rehearsed the whole show in the sets for 6 weeks before we turned the camera. It was extraordinary.
And it's well known that when you do a musical for the movies,
yes,
that the stars lip sync. They pre-record everything they do, and then they lip sync it on the screen, so it's perfect.
Yes.
There was no way you could do that, was there?
Well,
the word has always been that you performed those live in the movie.
Yes, I did. And Warner's sound was always supposed to be the best, so I rather challenged Warner's sound and said, now, is there anything we can do to have the orchestra on the set? They said nothing. No. So what we did was I actually did the sessions with Andre Previn and the orchestra, as if I was going to post-sync, and as I was going to lip-sync. Then they took my voice track away from that track. They had Previn's track on the set, played low so I could hear it. And I recorded them quite live, absolutely live. And it saved a lot of time, because, I did them straight through. There was, you see, the trouble was Mike's they were very new then, certain mics. You know, they weren't being used very much. And I think they had to get permission from me to use mine. But every now and then we'd have a take which George Cukor thought was right and I felt was okay. And the sound man would come drained, his face drained with blood. And he said, we were intercepted. There was a call from the mayor of Miami. We got in the middle of the take.
Oh, the calls.
Yeah, we had the wrong, we had a radio.
You're on the wrong frequency.
A frequency which was used. Also, taxis would have a long
Yes.
time.
We've had police calls through here a couple of times. Oh, yeah. I've gone to several burglaries right off the station. Yeah, that is strange how that happens. Sure, the aerials pick up...
Yes, it did happen several times. So we had to do, it was pretty aggravating, a lot of it. We had to be very patient.
Did you enjoy doing the movie version?
Very much.
It's so hard sometimes to translate a great Broadway success to the film.
But I was terrified that I'd be stagey, you know, because the last thing you have to do when you film is project. So I thought, I had long talks to George Cukor about it, and he was very helpful. And I said to George, you know, if I do seem to be pushing it too much and not thinking it enough, for God's sake, stop and tell me. And so we did work very well together, and I hope it wasn't a stagey performance, but there was a danger of it.
We're going to take a commercial break and come back. Many of the stars are here with Rex Harrison today from this dazzling new production of My Fair Lady, and we'll be back with more after this message.